Hello, everyone. This is going to be a general love and relationship reading for everyone. So if you resonate with the title, doesn't matter what your sign is, this is for you. I'm thinking of possibly doing a special extended reading, which would be available for purchase on my website. So stay tuned for that. If there's a link below, I think I'm going to do one. I don't know why I'm like hesitating. I want to see what comes out. But sometimes it feels like, I think I don't necessarily go deep into it just because it's a free general reading and not sure how many people are resonating with it, but I want to see what comes out. I was kind of feeling like possibly an extended special in-depth reading was going to come out of this one. So let's see what astrological influences there are. And if you like these readings, I do one for each zodiac sign. So I just finished all 12, just posted the last 6 of them yesterday, and I'll just continue to do those as I feel guided, but they're usually like once a month, but maybe even I'll start again this week recording them. My goodness. Maybe it'll be a weekly thing. Could do that. Weekly zodiac messages. Because energy changes and shifts. Ooh, Saturn return, age. Energy changes and shifts very quickly. I mean, just in a day, if you can think about how many different mood shifts you have, like weekly, I think is a good. Things can change in one day, in a couple of hours. So a lot can change in a week. This one and that one. Ninth house, faith. And Uranus, genius. All right, so Saturn return. The Saturn return occurs every 29 years. And so I'm going to read a little bit about it. How's everyone doing today? You good? I've had an interesting day. Not necessarily anything happened. It's just been interesting emotionally. Saturn is the lord of karma, which shatters all illusions. Right? Saturn return, yeah. It takes approximately 29 years for Saturn to orbit the sun, so the first Saturn return happens around the age of 29. It marks a period where childish things must be put away. There's no more getting ready to live your life. It is time to live it and be responsible for your own dreams, goals, and affairs. If you hold on to things with no basis in reality, your suffering will grow and depression may follow. You cannot escape this truth-seeking energy. You must face it. It's the Judgment card equivalent. So yeah, then the second one occurs around age 60. It says when you become aware of your own mortality. But I definitely felt this around that age when I was 29. That's kind of when my spiritual awakening happened. And then this card, which is the ninth house, faith. It's a 33. This came out in the Taurus reading I just did. But it says obstacles are lifted. The ninth house in astrology is the house position for the sign Sagittarius and is ruled by the planet Jupiter, the planet of openness, luck, and expansion. This area of the traditional horoscope wheel is the house of travel, philosophy, high-mindedness, and also religion. But it is also a lot about esoteric and like new age stuff as well, not just traditional religion. Destiny, fate, and karma all come into play, as well as your view of what God may or may not be. That's where, you know, religion is about God. Everyone has a different God, but so is spirituality. It's finding a God in your own way more so than trying to seek it through an institution like religion. Let's see. And the number 9, we have Uranus, which is genius. So finding your genius. Maybe you're going through your Saturn return right now at around 29 years of age. Ooh, this is the Tower. Oh, I forgot to see what the ninth house was. So this equivalent is the Tower. So we have Judgment, the Tower, and then what was this one? Let me check. Which are some pretty intense energies. They're also the Three of Wands. excuse me, the Three of Wands can be about like adventure, travel. It's also waiting for things to happen. Okay, so the Tower card, never comfortable. The sudden bolt of a surprise that causes chaos. Uranus, the Great Awakener, is here to wake you up. According to myth, out of chaos emerged two expressions of deities: Gaia, Mother Earth, and Uranus, Father Sky. And this is ruled by Aquarius. So we have ninth house is Sagittarius energy, Uranus is Aquarius energy. Let's see what this is about. So some kind of awakening is happening. And I don't even think I can do that, shuffle like that. These cards are kind of awkward and big for me to hold and do that with. So some kind of awakening happening, possibly with having to do with religion, spirituality, anything that's not rooted, you know, this card talks a lot, anything that's not rooted in reality will be kind of stripped away. And all these illusions are being shattered, and we're being awakened to a lot of different things. Two of Cups and the Seven of Cups. So it is having to do with love. The Two of Cups is going on a date. This is my tattoo tarot. Going on a date, union, sharing your cup with somebody and them sharing theirs with you. The Seven of Cups is fantasy and illusion. So we're seeing possibly where we've had our head in the clouds when it comes to love, or maybe we've been believing something that we learned in having to do with faith or religion or spirituality. So it could be the way that, yeah, like, you know, how, like, basically, if you grew up religious, that kind of informed how you view relationships and how, you know, what a healthy relationship looks like, and what you're supposed to do, and all of these ideals and values and morals. And so it's kind of like you're being awakened to the fact that some of that was not really based in reality, because we grow up and then we have these experiences as humans and we think, oh, well, I did all the right things. Why am I not happy? I mean, that happened to me. It's like I was in a relationship that was seemingly perfect and good and nothing was wrong with it, right? It was like, it wasn't necessarily abusive, but it was a little bit emotionally neglectful, at least, and not as, but I think a lot of people settle for that. A lot of people settle for a less than ideal situation to have some sense of security, rather than, you know, asking the hard questions and having those difficult conversations, and having a conscious relationship rather than an unconscious relationship. So I really feel like it's like unearthing a lot of unconscious beliefs and behaviors and ways of being in relationship that we hadn't realized were there. And it's coming from what we learned in terms of spirituality, religion. I feel like specifically religion, but even in this new age stuff, like if you've heard of twin flames, like that's kind of what hooked me into this spiritual awakening, was like meeting somebody, having an intense connection with them, being like, what the fuck is this? You know, because it was while I was still married, and finding about twin flames, and it resonated with me, and I resonated with a lot of the information. However, then when you get sucked into this rabbit hole of everyone, I'm a twin flame reader and find your twin flame, it's like it became a little bit toxic. Well, not a little bit toxic, it can become very toxic, because again, once twin flame is like a very special union and relationship between a man and a woman, or a masculine feminine, doesn't have to be man woman, but masculine feminine energy. And they have a mission in the world, which again, like, you want to be careful about what you give into and also what you're believing. So like for a long time I believed, yeah, I was a twin flame and I was going to meet somebody, and I possibly was looking for that, or instead of focusing on my own self-growth and my own self-love, which really that's what it's all about. Like, I don't even know if I actually am one or have one in this lifetime, or, you know, like, but we can get sucked into those concepts that are a little not necessarily based in reality, and they have been like skewed, or stories have been told that gets kind of, you know, it's like that game of telephone when one person tells a story and then it gets heard a certain way, and then another person tells it and it gets heard a certain way, and then it gets told a different way, you know. So you never know how pure the information really is. And the same thing with religion and like the in Christianity and Catholicism and Judaism, like the translation of the Bible, like we don't really know, and who you're hearing the information from if you're not like reading it yourself and actually studying it. But even the, excuse me, translation of the Bible, you don't even necessarily know how like accurate that is and like what they actually meant, like what they're actually trying to portray. So that's what I feel like this is kind of like shattering all illusions. And I think we'll probably get more into like how you can tell what is real for yourself or not. So we have the Two of Coins, another two. So we have a 22 that has come out, which is a master number. 20, and it's actually 22 is harmony and love and balance, and it's also divine feminine. So, but the Two of Pentacles is about balance. It's about needing to keep balance in your life. You see how the scales are there. Juggling, learning how to keep balance in your physical world. Then we have the Ace of Swords, which is clarity, truth. It's also communication. These two cards came out together. And so we have, it's about love. We're learning what is real and what is not when it comes to love for us. Whether that's the type of person we believe we need or want to be with, or the type of relationship we need or want to have. You know, so this could be, for example, like someone who thinks they only have to be monogamous or they have to get married, when deep down a part of them's like, I actually don't think that I ever want to get married or be tied down to one person. You know, like open relationships and polyamory and all of that are very common now, and people actually can do that. Granted, everyone's conscious and aware, but you know, it's really just acknowledging what you yourself need and want. And then I've come to realize it's very unrealistic for humans to have one partner their entire life, which is a really big theme in relationships when it comes to religion and spirituality and the right and wrong way to live your life as a human. I get that it's stable and it maybe is a little bit safer, a little bit more comfortable, but it's not ideal. Like that, saying that you're only going to be attracted to one person, or you know, you're only going to love one person in your life. That's just not, that we're meant to learn from each other. So, and love and intimacy and sexual relationships are actually our biggest teachers, because that's when we get the closest to people. So that just isn't, that to me doesn't resonate, like being with one person your entire life. Like, unless, I don't know. I mean, I know people have done it, but honestly, if you talk to those people, I wonder how many of those people cheated. I'm not kidding. Right. So we create these like structures and like we set ourselves up to fail, and then we blame ourselves for being human, which is like, I'm attracted to multiple people and I don't know, or I don't want to get married right away, or I don't want to get married at all, or the people who are like, yeah, I only want to be with one person, you know, like, or I want to be with multiple people. Nothing is right or wrong unless you make it so. So where are your right and wrongs coming from? I feel like that's what's really coming up. So with the Two of Pentacles or Two of Coins and the Ace of Swords, see, this card to me is like, you're just maintaining. It's like, what are you just maintaining and keeping the status quo? What are you attempting to keep in balance? Because it's about juggling. It can be about having too many things up in the air. You're balancing too many things. And then the Ace of Swords is like getting clarity and what is your truth? Like what are you maintaining that isn't, what do you need to cut out that isn't your truth? We're already 14 minutes in, and I feel like this time went by so fast. The Nine of Cups. Yeah, what do you really want? This is your wishes being fulfilled. You're getting clear on what it is you actually want. Like, I mean, everything I was just saying, basically. You're getting really clear on what is actually true for me. This one. Six of Swords is choosing calmer, peaceful, more peaceful thoughts, moving on to calmer waters. It could be moving on from something. But it's not like a painful, it's like it's a very easeful. I'm moving on and feeling good about it. Trusting, surrendering to this new thing, the Four of Cups. The Four of Cups is feeling discontent, is not liking what you're being offered. Interesting. Moving away from, it's funny because we have like the Nine of Cups, which is wishes being fulfilled, and then the Six of Swords, which is like moving forward, moving on, and then the Four of Cups, which again is feeling discontent. Perhaps you moved away from something that was actually everything that you wanted. And now you're like, shit, like I listened to somebody else's advice, to my religious, yeah, Three of Swords and heartbreak. Heartbreak, sadness, healing from heartbreak, the Three of Swords. It's interesting. It almost feels like you moved away from something that you wanted, and it just brought pain and sadness. What is it that you moved away from? I mean, it could be reading this completely wrong, but that's honestly what it feels like is you decided to cut something out. You decided to cut something out, which was actually what you wanted, and move forward thinking that, okay, I feel more peaceful moving in this direction, but then you ended up feeling like, well, fuck, this sucks too, and this is actually painful. So we had the Five of Wands, which is competition or conflict, chaos on the outside, and then Knave of Cups, which is the Page of Cups. The Page of Cups is like a small offer of love. It can be about friendship. The Five of Coins, dang, a lot of like kind of intense energy, sadness. Like this is about loss, feeling abandoned, rejected, feeling left out in the cold. So somebody moved away from something they really wanted because they thought they were choosing the more I don't say acceptable, but the road that felt easier, I guess is what it was. The easier road. So like you had something that you wanted, but then you decided, or you knew what you wanted, or you were on that path to choosing what you wanted, like getting your wishes to be fulfilled. And honestly, with like the Two of Pentacles here, and I was talking about balancing and juggling and having too many things, it was like maybe, I don't know, like you were told you had too many things. You were told you couldn't handle this, I feel like. And even though it was what you wanted, you were like, okay, well, I'm going to take the easier road and go towards what I guess people are telling me is more stable. But it ended up then you were like, I know, I'm discontent. Now I feel heartbroken. Now there's chaos. Now there's like these small offers that I don't even like these people. I don't even feel like I don't even feel like they're on my level, or you know what I mean? Like you just don't like it. The Page of Cups is kind of just like an immature, you feel like you're not meeting anyone. And the Five of Cups is like, they keep abandoning me, they keep ghosting me, or yeah, like you're just not liking it. You're feeling abandoned on this path that you chose. Okay, we're telling a story here, so it's not the end. And we are going to do an extended here because I'm going to end this pretty soon. Eight of Wands. Quick movement. Arrows of love. It can be passionate, intense energy towards something or someone. Death. It's Scorpio energy, but it's transformation. The road you took was the one of killing, like basically transforming that which you had no idea needed to be transformed. The Sun. But on the other side of it is rebirth and happiness. That's also masculine energy. But there's two people in that card. you'll see how it's kind of like there's two people here, their heads are down there. Two people who had to kill off a part of themselves, you know, like allow a part of themselves to be transformed and then being reborn, reawakened. Whoa. Let's see. Okay. The Empress, mother energy. So then it's fertility. So it's not necessarily that this path you took wasn't the right one, but it was difficult. But now we have the Empress, which is fertility, it's mother energy, it's harvest time. What are we harvesting? The Knight of Coins, a solid offer. Solid, steady movement. And look, there's a ring, or there's a ring, but it looks like a diamond, like I think of ring. Someone offer, like a solid offer. It may have taken, the Knight of Coins is definitely the slowest moving offer or action card, but he's sure of him. He's sure and he's trustworthy, and you know, he can be a little bit stubborn too. But yeah, you know, the Ten of Swords, the worst, a painful ending. What was I gonna say? The journey that you took in terms of, just sounds like the spiritual awakening that you had could have been what you needed, but maybe the way I am perceiving it, or you perceived it, is like, this isn't what I wanted. But that could just be your ego death. Judgment. See, we have judgment twice now. Resurrection, redemption. After a painful ending, a rebirth. The High Priestess. And more, being more tapped in, more, this is your intuition, hidden knowledge, being tapped in spiritually. You actually took the road less traveled. You thought it was going to be an easy one, is what I get, but it's actually not. And the Nine of Wands, and you're feeling like the wounded warrior. Feeling like you've been through a battle, you've been through a lot, but also recognizing how far you've come. Let's get one more, and then we're going to go into the extended after I pull a... Holy shit. These cards just like do crazy things to my hands. This one. The King of Coins. See? Here's the more solid offer. He's kind of creepy. Sorry. But, so this coins would be pentacles. So that could be, I was about to say Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, but that's cups. Pentacles is Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn. Doesn't have to be those signs though. And there's, I feel like it comes in right as you're about to give up. Like this card is like, can be about feeling like you want to give up, but knowing you got to keep pushing forward. And it's like the offer comes right when you feel like you're going to give up. Right when you're like, well, fuck this. I feel like we're looking at possibly like where you started, like with this Saturn return, you know, shattering all these illusions in relationship and doing all this work on yourself, this inner work, and it's been difficult, and you've been trying to, you know, find your match and figure out what you want, and you thought this was going to be the easy road, but it ended up being like fucking terrible. To your ego, I should say, you know, I mean, yes, it has been difficult. There's been some pretty painful cards in here, but you've made it through, and you've become more like the two feminine energies, like here, the Empress and the High Priestess are like, this is, because it sounds like I'm talking to a feminine energy here. This is where you ended up, like, whilst going through all of these difficult experiences, you ended up embodying these two, like the Empress is the mother, and she's everything in the physical world, embodies all four queens. And then the High Priestess is like everything in the esoteric world, like, super tapped in to the divine, to her what am I trying to say? I don't know. Wombat spirit, be at home. And armadillo spirit, set healthy boundaries. Be at home. Be at home. I'm not sure what these mean, but we're going to go into the extended and see. This says set healthy boundaries. So we're going to start from here. So if you want to purchase that, you can click on the link below to see what these mean and to see what else is coming, what this King of Coins is offering. Okay, bye.